Meredita, good morning. I try. Dear representatives of religious communities, esteemed academic colleagues, distinguished guests, dear students, honorable, Honorable Rector Professor Sinani, honorable, I took the wrong list here. I'm sorry. Yes. Honorable Mr. Bika, Honorable Your Beatitude Archbishop Johan, Honorable Monsignor Emita, Honorable Dede Edmond Behrami. I'm sorry for the maybe wrong pronunciation. I tried. I would like to extend now a very warm welcome to all of you and thank you for the invitation to this inspiring symposium. Yes. For me, participating in this symposium is very precious, an opportunity for international, interdenominational, and interreligious encounter, learning from each other. To begin with, I'll give a brief overview. Thank you. Okay. I'll give a brief overview of what you have to expect the next 15 minutes in 2 points. First, I'll give you a brief overview of the Erasmus Plus project Professor Genti was already talking about, and KPH, my institution KPH, Vienna, Austria, as two interreligious initiatives fostering dialogue between religions and within the Christian community among the denominations. And next, I will outline an approach of the concept of dialogue, which is fundamentally important for religious interaction in order to approach and understand global challenges in an appropriate manner. And finally, to look ahead, the keynote will serve as an introduction to the students' workshop later on. That will be entitled Working on Perspectives, Christians and Muslims Engage in Dialogue on Climate Issues. So I have the opportunity to talk to you today because Bedër University and my University College in Vienna are collaborating in this very special Erasmus Plus project. Its title sounds like a program, and it is Religions for Ecology, Facing Global Challenges, Environmental and Peace Education in Interreligious Dialogue for Teacher Education. In this project, as you see on the picture, we focus on water in the various different contexts of climate justice, and especially the need of water to be protected, and how we, as teachers, as religious persons, can contribute to this in our teaching profession. In this Erasmus Plus project, we are 5 partners from universities in 2 continents. Bedër University, as you know, and the University of Malaysia are Muslim universities. The International University of Barcelona, our partners, are Roman Catholic. The team at the Augsburg University in Germany consists of 2 Muslim colleagues and a Protestant professor, Elisabeth Naurath. She is also the leader of our program. And KPH is an interreligious institution itself. We take part with a Catholic, a Muslim, and a Buddhist colleague. As you see, we find ourselves in this project in a religiously diverse partnership with all its challenges and chances, as you probably know from your own experience. As cooperation partner, we build multiple networks for our common and shared future. So, as cooperation partners, today's symposium also will mark another nod, like you nod a net, will nod another nod to this network to become more robust and wide and fruitful. So we all become part of it. Just to present you in 2 points, 2 points, the most important goals of our project. First, it's the interfaith learning. We want to foster insights from the interfaith and international Erasmus project for the initial and continuing professional training and development for religious education teachers. So this is the part of The program is for religious teacher education. Second, it is the interreligious perspective that shall offer furthermore and enrich the secular discourse of themes regarding sustainability, like nature conversation, climate protection, promoting climate resilience, and so on. So we want to foster interreligious dialogue in the secular discourse of climate issues. To sum this up, for us the contribution of religions in dialogue lies, amongst other things, in the joint formation of values, that's what the students are going to work about later on, and in the ethical foundations for responsibility. Thereby, we want to contribute to the reduction of the intention-action gap. Today, in the workshop with the students, we will be searching together for the foundations in our own and different religious sources for a common ground of ethics that we can share across our religious perspectives, that can mobilize our collective strength in caring for our Earth, Mother Earth, and foster peaceful coexistence. We will engage ourselves this afternoon in practicing dialogue to do so and continue building the networks based on dialogue as we try hard in our Erasmus project. To finish with this part, the partners in the Erasmus Plus project have drafted a common statement on their work. So it's called Our Shared Vision. And it is published on the project website. You can find it there and download it, and the students will work with it later on. Under the motto, Think Global, Get Connected and Act Together. We have been working together for nearly 3 years now. Today, somehow, you are joined in. You are invited to be with us. So after having presented this international project of interreligious cooperation, I invite you to follow me to Vienna. Because our university college is another example, but on a local level. I want to introduce you the institutionalized interreligious local project, KPH, or KPH in German, Vienna Lower Austria. Vienna/Lower Austria means it's about in 2 counties. Yeah, it's not just Vienna, but the county surrounding Vienna is part of it. And it's 2 dioceses. The KPH was founded in 2007 and understood itself from the beginning as a laboratory for interreligious learning. It is the 2nd largest private training college in Austria, teacher training college in Austria, and this is very special, is funded by 7 Christian churches. It's unique Europe-wide. We sometimes think and dream this might also be unique in all over the world, so I don't know. But as a matter of fact, we have 7 Christian churches who are the founder of this institution. It's a Roman Catholic church, as I said, in 2 dioceses. It's the Protestant church, which is smaller in Austria. We have about 4% of the population are Protestant. Then there is the Greek church and the Oriental Orthodox churches. All the Orthodox churches have one Orthodox religious education in school, so this is very important. And then the Old Catholic Church of all is very little, is 0.4%, but they join us, and the Free Churches of Austria. And as you see, we become, with the time, and it was from the beginning on the plan, we became an interfaith project by cooperation with those religious communities in Austria that also offer denominational religious education in public and private schools in Austria. So 2015, the Islamic faith community joined us. I have to say that already 20, 30 years before, the Islamic community and the Christian communities have been cooperating very, very intense in the education of their own religious teachers together. So there is a long tradition. Then the same year, the Alevi community joined. Austria is the only country worldwide that accepts or that recognizes the Alevi community as a religion. It's very strong. And then the Jewish community joined 2016, and the very little Buddhist society 2017. We have about 0.5% Buddhists in Austria. So according to the self-image and the foundation date, believe it or not, the decision to establish this institution was literally made the day of the attacks, 9/11 attacks in New York. So this is sort of a strong input. The complex constellation of an interdenominational and interreligious university college is explicitly a peace project. At KPH Vienna Law Austria, students, teachers, and all staff have the opportunity to experience religious diversity in everyday working life with all its challenges and chances. We have learned that this for sure is not new, but it is of a high relevance for the interreligious dialogue, that this opportunity with this institution that we have must actively be taken care of, nurtured and developed in a continuous respectful process. To oversee and conduct this process, we have separate institutes for each religion. I'd like to invite you to spend a moment to have a look at these cards, these different cards, because with these cards we promote our studies, our education for religious teachers. But we try to, you might see it, we try to express and promote the attitude of respect and mutual support as guideline for interreligious dialogue in daily cooperation, because we folded this, we have been working on these folders about 3 or 4 months to become an expression of unity in plurality. You see there are different colors, different symbols for the religions, but the slogans and the whole frame, the art in there is the same for everybody. So we are very proud and very happy to have developed these cards. So, and one last slide for this. When we set the cards in a wheel, as you see there, we used it very much for our promotion. When we set them in motion in a wheel, the folders now speak of the movement that can be kicked off by dialogue to take joint responsibility for peace, justice, and the care of creation. As Hans Küng, the Swiss professor for Catholic theology and founder of the Global Ethic Foundation, put it, no peace among the nations without peace among the religions, no peace among the religions without dialogue between the religions. Now, here's the bridge for my second input I've prepared for you. What do we mean by dialogue? I'm very curious, maybe later on, to learn about your concepts of dialogue, being involved in your context, in this country, in your communities. Maybe we can exchange on that later. I would like to continue now introducing one approach to the practice of dialogue, a concept of dialogue, and it is neither Christian nor Muslim, and I approach it to share it with you. The following dialogue concept has a Hindu and a Jewish background, as well as one of nature science. I'm talking about the American quantum physicist and philosopher David Bohm. I ask myself, because I'm in my world, I ask myself if you know him, what you know about his concept, or if it's completely new. So this is a very important question for me. Maybe we also can exchange about that later. He was living in the 20th century, and he developed a concept of dialogue which is still practiced as a concept and taught as Bohm dialogue. Crucial to the developing process was not only his professional perception of the world as a quantum physicist. He was working with Einstein and people like that, so that's completely another world. And his Jewish roots on the other side, but also very much his encounter with the Indian philosopher and leader, very well accepted and known in the Indian Hindu world. It's Jiddu Krishnamurti. For Bohm, what is important now for us, for Bohm, dialogue does not mean like that two people talk to each other, as it is understood usually. He translates correctly and takes it serious. He translates correctly Daya as true, of course, and Logos with word and meaning. That means, what is the point in that? That means that he distinguishes dialogue from discussion. We need both, of course. But to distinguish dialogue from discussion, because discussion, that's what he says, is like a ping-pong of opinions and arguments in order to win, to beat each other, to learn. And that's, of course, we need in an academic surrounding. But it's not the only thing. Dialogue has another quality. In contrast to the discussion, dialogue is an event, and these are again his words, Dialogue is an event that opens up a space, the idea of a free flow of meaning that flows through us and between us. What does that mean in practical terms for our topic? Böhm is very clear. He sums up his findings as a natural scientist, as a Jewish person, as an American, so with all his provenience, he sums up his finding and applies them to the key issue of the environmental crisis. He says, our thinking, our way of thinking is the cause of all ecological problems. In order to find appropriate and effective solution to these highly complex contemporary challenges like climate issues, he adopts a dialogue-based approach to face global challenges. Böhm's concept of dialogue fosters a particular mindset that encourages the emergence of new meanings, approaches, and perhaps even solutions that not have been found so far. Oops. Oh, I'm missing a slide here. Or did it hide? So if the slide is not here, you have to listen even more carefully. Sorry. The key features, because now the point, it's a shame. The key features of this concept of dialogue outlines an attitude that is practiced through dialogue. It can be learned and practiced through dialogue. And these are, what are the key moments of this concept of dialogue? First, I rather listen and reflect what I've heard than follow my argument. That turns around the vision. Second, it's 4 points. I keep in mind to look for the underlying assumption of what you, the other, might think. Third, I keep looking for what is really important for me, what is the source of my thinking. We'll try that later on with the students. They go back to their source of thinking and reflect on that. And I keep listening, fourth point, I keep listening to my own way of thinking, the patterns guiding my structures and comprehension of thinking, because the solution might lay beyond my patterns and I have to question them. And dialogue can be the space, practice dialogue can be the space to open up my own patterns, and for that we need each other. Böhm summarizes. Practicing this attitude, the 4 points, dialogue can open up and help creative ideas emerge out of the flow of meaning that flows through us and between us. We probably, as theologians, as Christians and Muslims, we describe this experience of the flow of meaning in different words, in different language. But in my view, the attitude explained, described here a fundamental, the attitude described here certainly can provide a solid foundation for interreligious dialogue, and dialogue to tackle the challenges of climate change and peace together. So, after showing this quality of dialogue, this concept of dialogue, I'll finish up with one more thought. You are probably familiar with the model of the level of interreligious dialogue. The model appears in various forms in literature, probably changing a lot. So I just briefly will outline them here to you to round things off and to provide context for the workshop later on. Of course, further other levels can be named. Maybe we can exchange about that later on too. I use the levels for interreligious dialogue in the left-hand column of the table. And the right-hand column of the table, like it says type of experience, left hand you see the levels and the right hand you see experiences, type of experiences. To be honest and to share with you, the right-hand column was developed by Professor Juan Hernández Serrat, professor at the International University of Catalonia and very active part of our Erasmus Plus project. And to add these type of experience to the levels is already an outcome and a product of our work in our project. So I'm sorry. We distinguish the following levels of interreligious dialogue, which are connected by those of Juan, as you see it here. It is the dialogue of life, the dialogue of action, the theological dialogue, the dialogue of religious experience, and the representative dialogue, as it is named here. On each level, so many people are all over the world engaged, realizing their objectives on each level. For example, the representative dialogue. This dialogue here is only possible because people on representative level make it possible, and students can exchange theologically and the dialogue of action because it is made possible. So many people are engaged, realizing their objectives in order to foster peace and good life for all. This is maybe a dream, peace and good life for all. And as Christians and Muslims, we might name it not dream, but hope. But to do this 14th Interfaith and Intertheological Academic Symposium, we experience that the dream is alive, the hope is alive, and that a lot of people do a great job keeping it alive. Together we hold on to our deep hope and trust. I want to close now with a word from Hans-Jörg Schmidt. He is professor of interreligious ethics at the University in Fribourg in Switzerland. He rounds up and sums up what we just heard. Academic reflection on questions of dialogue is always dependent on the experience of dialogue itself. Face-to-face interreligious dialogue, in particular, can serve as a school of perceiving the signs of the time, climate issues, together, foreseeing one's own perspective in the light of the others, for striving to find common perspectives, values, whilst at the same time not shying away from conflicts and differences. To finish, I would like to return to the opening remarks and the title of the symposium. There is so much that could be said here. I choose to focus on dialogue as an indispensable foundation for peaceful coexistence among religions. For there is a great hope in the ability of religions to engage in dialogue in order to address climate issues effectively together. Thank you for the opportunity to experience interreligious dialogue here together with you in cooperation with the very important symposium. I'm learning, and we are learning from each other, from the example of religious communities, get inspired once again by the wonderful and fruitful Albanian spirit of interreligious sisterhood and brotherhood here at this place. Thank you very much.